A few years ago, my best friend gifted me this book on seasonal living according to Ayurveda. As I was browsing through this book, one ritual really caught my attention. It's called the 11th day fast, based in Vedic tradition that the 11th day after the full or new moon is the best day for fasting. Fasting has a really long tradition in spiritual lineages, and it's said to bring us closer to the divine and helps us see ourselves more clearly. It's really powerful for quieting our inner chatter and clearing the mind of any mental fog. Fasting doesn't just have to pertain to food. You can also fast from media, talking, or anything that's engaging and mentally stimulating. I decided that I really wanted to create my own one-day silent retreat where I would fast from technology, media, talking, and taking in information. I would also eat really light and give my body the chance to really process and digest life. What unfolded was extremely powerful. But first, let's go back to the night before this all began. All right, so a little check-in. Tomorrow is the day of my silent retreat. This is the night before. I'm just about to head to bed now, and I've pretty much prepared for the day ahead. I've let people know in my life, close to me, my husband in particular, who I obviously live with, that I will not be speaking tomorrow. There will be no talking. I have turned off all of my messages, my emails, any form of social media. I have used this app called Off Time to block all of those apps for tomorrow. I am going to use my phone for just a few select things tomorrow. My GPS, because I'm planning on going for a hike and I'm not great with directions. Otherwise, that's it. Everything else is pretty much blocked on my phone. The other things that I am fasting from tomorrow, in addition to taking in information and messages and media, also no podcasts, no audiobooks, no talking, no speaking. And in terms of food, I'm still planning to eat. I'm not doing a full food fast, but my intention is to eat lighter tomorrow and to cut out any form of sugar. So I am excited. I think there's probably going to be some discomfort, some resistance. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that there's definitely going to be some challenge involved in not speaking, not taking in any social media or content or information. I'm definitely the type of person that is kind of always taking in information in one form or another. I mean, we all are in this day and age, but I'm curious to see what forms of resistance come up, what forms of maybe self-sabotage potentially come up. I don't know. We'll see what comes up. And I'm also just really looking forward to doing something that breaks my routine, that offers me the opportunity to just quiet my mind and really give myself this space to just receive and to process and digest life. I think I'll leave it there for now, but I'll see you on the other side. was the day after my silent retreat, and I wanted to take a moment to just reflect on what this beautiful, sacred experience was like for me yesterday. It was life-changing. I know that sounds dramatic, but it really brought a lot of awareness into my life. And at the same time, it was by no means easy. I actually woke up yesterday morning feeling quite a bit of anxiety underneath the surface. I was having a lot of swirling thoughts that I should be productive instead, that I should be doing something that leads to a particular outcome. And I initially felt quite a bit of resistance to just taking this space and taking this day to really just be on my own. And the other thing that really struck me quite early on, I was feeling honestly quite emotional yesterday. I am also on my moon, and I could just feel that there was a lot beneath the surface, a lot of emotion beneath the surface. And it was really interesting because I saw so clearly how in my day-to-day life, a lot of the time when I am feeling this current of emotion underneath the surface, how easy it is for me to just pick up my phone and to start scrolling, or to start reading, or listen to a podcast, or put on an audiobook, or watch a YouTube video, or check my emails. There's all of these different ways that in my daily life I can distract myself from fully being with and holding space for what I'm really feeling. And I am an emotional being. I mean, we all are, but I definitely identify as someone who is a sensitive being, who feels a lot, who can take on and hold on to a lot of emotion. Sometimes that isn't even my own. I know yesterday a lot of what I was feeling was this deep sadness for animals. And I had heard this horrific story that I won't even share about how this experience of this woman who was working to help animals in Nepal, and just the way that these animals were treated. I had heard that story a few days ago, and I didn't even realize until the silence and stillness of yesterday how deeply that story affected me, and how much hurt and pain I was feeling as a result of that. And I kind of feel myself getting a little bit emotional even right now speaking of it, because, you know, I think one thing that I really realized yesterday was that it's hard to hold all the pain and all the hurt and all the suffering and all of the intense emotions that we experience throughout our life on this planet, throughout our time on this planet. The Buddha said life is suffering. There's a lot more context to that statement, by the way. I don't want to just leave it like, that's it, that's all there is. But you know, that is a piece of the Buddha statement that we hear often. And it's really interesting when you look around, because most of the time, 99% of the time, people are pretending to be okay. You ask them, how are you doing? And they're like, I'm fine, everything's great. They just kind of, I think we all, it's a lot of weight and it's a lot to hold when we really sit with the truth of how hard this life can sometimes be. And so I found myself really feeling all of that. And as much as initially I was resisting it, and as much as I was so hyper aware of how in a normal day, I would have probably just bypassed those feelings. I would have probably just kind of turned my head towards them and distracted myself in work. I would have distracted myself in feeling like I'm being productive by listening to podcasts and YouTube videos and learning and, filling myself up with information. And of course, that's beautiful, and there's a time and a space for that. But I really saw how often I just turned to my phone and I turned to these distractions as a crutch, because it's hard to sit with what I'm actually feeling. So yesterday, as beautiful as it was to have this day of spaciousness, I really wanted to give myself the space to fully feel and be with everything that I was feeling. And that definitely led to a lot of tears. It led to a lot of journaling and writing, which I'm so grateful for. And today, on the other side of it all, I feel a lot lighter. I feel just a lot clearer. I feel like all of that anxious, hurt energy, definitely the anxious piece, maybe there's still some hurt in there, but I felt it slowly start to melt away as I held space to be with it through meditation, through contemplation, through time in nature, through my yoga practice. It helped me to notice some of the recurring worries and anxieties that can fill my mind that really don't serve me. It helped me see where those threads were coming from. And ultimately, it also brought me deeper into my practice, into my spiritual practices, into my meditation practices. And carving out that space to just meditate, that was to such a depth that I haven't quite done in a while. Wow, it was so powerful. So I intend to do more days like this in the future. I feel like even now I still haven't turned on my messages and notifications and emails, social media. It's all still off, and part of me secretly, maybe not so secretly, wishes that I could just keep doing this. I honestly, by the end of the night, was thinking about what if I just got a flip phone and created my content as I am on my camera and just had a flip phone and didn't even need to engage with this constant stream of input. It's so much. It is so much, I believe, for a lot of our bodies to hold. So it was cleansing. It was deeply purifying. It was clarifying. And I've taken a lot away from this one simple day that I intend to continue working on and holding space for in my own life, particularly with my emotions, particularly with holding space for the discomfort, for the intensity, for the hurt, for the parts of life that I often just want to turn away from or run away from or numb myself from. Can I instead just allow myself to be with it, to see it, to hold space for it, and to trust that, like everything else in this life, that feeling will also pass, but it needs space to flow. So I highly recommend trying this out, a one-day silent retreat. Make it your own. I know that many of us don't have a full day. Maybe you have kids and maybe all you can kind of carve out is a few hours in the morning. Maybe it's like when your kids are at school or whatever. But I really feel like finding some way to make this practice your own for as long or as short as feels right for you. I think that there's a lot of wisdom and beauty behind it, waiting to be discovered. So thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for you. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope that you find so much beauty throughout the rest of your day. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye.